Hey guys, let's talk about load balances today. So why do we need load balances? What are the various types of load balances in AWS? And how it how it helps us on high availability and scalability. So as we have two kinds of scalability. One is vertical scalability, and the other one is a horizontal scalability. Okay, so just want to quickly touch base on that. So, you guys will be aware of it. Okay, perfect. Just give me a moment. Okay, so okay, perfect. So let's start now. Uh, Cool, guys. The thing is, I was explaining about two kinds of scalability. Okay, one is vertical scalability, and the other one is a horizontal scalability. Okay, you should understand as a cloud engineer what is the difference between these two scalabilities. Um, I'm not gonna go deep into this. So just for a layman perspective, vertical scale. um, Sorry. Okay, from the layman perspective, vertical scalability means, okay, so say for example, if you're using T2.micro in instance, then you will be upgrading into something bigger configuration. For example, you'll be going for T5.micro, okay, something like this. And for horizontal scalability, say for example, if you have three T2.micro instances, then you'll go to 10 T2.micro. So if you see the difference in horizontal, we're just increasing the number of instances. In vertical, we're just increasing the configuration of one particular instance, and we are making that up. Okay, so this is a huge difference between horizontal scalability and vertical scalability. And as you know, the high availability, which I've already explained, which always gives you some kind of services even if other servers are down. So horizontal scalability and high availability will always goes hand in hand. Okay, when I say hand in hand, if you see here, I have mentioned, say for example, see here we have um, one instance, two instance, three instance, four instance, and five instance. Okay, so all are in T2.micro, say for example. Okay, now if one instance goes down, still we have four instances available to provide services. So which scalability it comes? It comes with horizontal scalability. Okay, so that is why horizontal scalability and high availability will always goes hand in hand. Just remember that. Okay, now I'm going to explain you about what is load balancing. Okay, the concept of load balancing is very simple. Load balance is nothing but, I'll just explain you in a quick diagram. Say for example, okay, so here one person, here one person, and here one person. Okay, and this is the our load balancer. Okay, L B load balancer. So now if he is if he is requesting something, okay, then this request will go to one of the ec2 instances, whichever is healthy. Okay, I'll talk about it, don't worry. And if he is sending in the request, so this will go to another ec2 instance. And if you do this here, so this will go to another EC2 instance. So basically what it does is, um, it will get the request, and as per the request, it will forward the request to the respective services or respective EC2 instances, and then it will get the response, and then it will provide it back. So this is a functionality of the load balancer. Yeah. Now, why do we need a load balancer? There are a couple of things which I want to make sure that you guys understood on the load balancer perspective. Why we need a load balancer? Load balancer we need because it spreads across multiple downstream instances. Yeah, so this is I mean, I'll just point out, very important. We have many points, but the main points are this one. Okay, and then high availability across multiple zones, and also do regular health checks to your instances. So these are all the main uh, important points. And also one more thing, it separates public traffic from private traffic, which I'll be explaining to you what exactly that means. Yeah, so we got to know why we are using load balancer, and now here, we we are going to see four types of load balancers in AWS. Okay, so the first one is classic load balancer, the second one is application load balancer, the third one is network load balancer, and the fourth one is gateway load balancer. Classic load balancer is almost obsolete. It will be removed this year, August 15, 2022. So Amazon is asking us to go for newer generation, which is application load balancer or network load balancer or gateway load balancer. So I'll just type it again. So we have four types of load balancers here. So four types of load balancers in AWS. So one is classic load balancer, two is application load balancer, three is network load balancer, and fourth is gateway load balancer. So this one was introduced in 2020, wherein these two things are running for a quite long time, which is it. I mean, all these second, third, and fourth are newer generation. This is the old generation. Okay, so this will be removed in August 15, 2022. Got it? But just for the demo purpose, I will start with the classic load balancer, how to create a classic load balancer, and what are the various options we can configure, just to get our basic hands-on and basic experience. Okay. So let's do that. So before I do that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to launch 3 instances. Okay. So I'm going to use free tier only, and then I'm going to choose Amazon Linux, and then I'm going to choose t2.micro next, and here number of instances I'm going to make it 3, and scrolling down, and then I'm going to add my user data, which is a bootstrapping script. So copying this, which I hope you guys know what is this. I'm just making it as an Apache web server, and hitting on next storage, not going to change anything. Next add tags, I'm not going to change anything right now. Configure security group. Now here I'm going to you can use existing security group, but I'm gonna create a new security group just for this demo purpose. So demo ec2 instance security group. Okay, so this is my name, demo ec2 instances security group, and I'm gonna add right now SSH22 from anywhere. Okay, and I'm gonna add HTTP as well, anywhere. Okay, for now these two things are fine with me. I'm hitting on review and launch, and then launch, and I'm gonna use the old key pair which I have already downloaded. So I'm just hitting on launch. So let's wait for a minute. Okay, so let's see the instance status now. I'm hitting on view instances, so here we go. I'm just making only the instance running. Instance state is equal to equals and then running. So I got only the running instance here. Cool. So 3 instances. I'm going to change the name for our purpose. I'm going to change the name demo machine 1. Okay. And double clicking on it, and then I'm making it like a demo machine 2. And then I'm making demo machine 3. Perfect. Now demo machine 1, demo machine 2, demo machine 3. Yeah, so everything is in initializing status. That's good. Now, if you remember, all these 3 machines have been attached to one single security group, right? So everything, all the 3 instances are using the new security group which I created. So this is a security group name, demo ec2 instances security group. And then in the security group, I'm allowing 80 and 22 from everywhere. Okay, so that is being added in all the instances. If you see, everywhere they are using demo ec2, and here also it's using demo ec2 only. Perfect. Now, I mean, eventually it should work when I'm copying the public IP of demo machine 1. I'm hitting it, I'm opening it here, enter. So it's giving me the private IP, DNS, private DNS of it. Correct. So if you see this here, this one, what is the private DNS for this? Same thing, IP 172.31.10.95. 172.31.10.95 AP South 1 compute.internal. So now I'm going to the second one, and then I'm copying the public IP, enter. Cool. Now I'm going for the third one, copying the public IP, enter. Now good. So now it's fine. Now the thing is, so these are all the public IP. Oh, okay, 1 minute. 13.15.13. Okay, all the public IP, we have a different public IP. Yeah. So just want to let you know. So in case if you have, so if you see the public IP of demo machine 1, so let me make it in whiteboard for your basic understanding. So if you see here, so demo machine 1, okay, so public IP is, so this is a demo machine public IP 1, so I'm gonna paste it here, okay, and then private IP, which is this one, 172.31.95. Okay, so likewise demo machine 2, so in the demo machine 2 here I have a public IP 15.206, which is here, same thing. So I'm gonna paste it in the, for our better understanding. Okay, and then what is a private IP for demo machine 2? If you go to your instances, demo machine 2 select, and then you have a private IP here, copy that. So this is a private IP. And for demo machine 3, if you see the public IP for demo machine 3, it is public IP is 13.233, and then private IP is 172.30. Okay, so no IP is unique. Everything is, I mean, no IP is same. Everything is unique. Yeah. Now, say for example, now I'm gonna stop all the instances just for your testing purpose. So I'm selecting everything, okay, and I'm gonna click on stop instance. I've hit on stop. Now what happens is everything is in. So if you see everything, all the 3, right? All the, so forget about these things. These things are all old machines which I have done, and it is being terminated. Remove that. So I'm just talking about only demo machine 1, 2, and 3 here. So everything is getting stopped. Correct. Now if you try to, access it, it will keep on spinning. See? So it means your instance is stopped. It's not responding. So after 30 seconds or so, it will give you error connection timed out. So if you see this, your website is not working like this, whatever you hosted. So always verify whether your health check is fine with the website or whether your website is up and running. So you are getting this error, ERR connection timed out. So here ERR connection timed out. Okay, so this is also ERR connection timed out. Okay, now there is one more option. So if you right click, then if you say something like inspect here, so, and then if you go to network here, okay, then if you hit on refresh, so it should give some sort of message. One moment. Okay, I'll talk about this maybe in some time. I'm not sure why this is not coming up. Okay, I'll talk about it maybe when I'm explaining, when I'm after creating the load balancer of this. Cool. So, I mean, I'm just closing the developer tools. That's fine. So here we go. Okay, so right now you have stopped the instances, yeah. So now let's see that. Let's try to start the instance, okay. And for before you start the instance, and when you hit on demo machine 1, after you stop the instance, you will not see the public IP address. You will only see the private IP address, okay. Now I'm gonna start all the 3 machines which I have stopped earlier. I'm just selecting all the 3 instance state and then start instance. Now instance will be started. Okay, now it is in pending mode. As soon as you start the instance, it will go to pending mode, then it will go to the running status. Okay, but if you hit demo machine 1, the public IPv4, it's not yet allocated. So let's wait for a minute. Okay, so let's see, where were we? Okay, now if you see the demo machine 1, what is the public IP address we are getting? 13.233.105.32. So I'm just copying this. I'm going to compare this with my whiteboard. So demo machine 1. So new after stopped and start. So what is the public IP we got? So is it the same? No, see the 13.235.90.54 was the old one, but now after the stop and start, it is something different. Okay, but what about private IP? This private IP is also changed. Let me copy and paste it here. No, private IP is same, 170.31.10.95, 170. So private IP is not changing after the start and stop. Remember, so the same thing applies for demo machine 2 also. See this. Now, after stop and start, I'm clicking on demo machine 2, public IP, I'm copying it. See this? Public IP here, I'm sorry, here public IP is 15.206. After stopped and starts, it's 3.10. Now let's see what is a private IP. So private IP would be 172.31.5. Okay. So that is same. So 170.31.5 or 170.31.5.209. Okay, cool. Now here, after stopped and start, so let's see the demo machine 3. So this is also same. Okay, public IP, it is changed. See that 13.230, 139.150. This is 159.180. Yeah, and then the private IP. So private IP here, it should be same, 172.31.8.240. So what we understood right now is after you stop and start, then your public IPs will change. Yeah. So this is a huge problem if the IPs are keep changing, because we did not, we did not introduce any kind of load balancers or DNS or anything. Okay, this is a base concept I'm talking about. So how can you resolve this for now? For now, there is a concept we have called elastic IP. Okay, now elastic IP is nothing but what happens is, as you guys know, we have two kind of IP address. Primarily, one is public IPs and the other one is private IPs. Yeah, so even if you Google it here, private IP, private IP address range. So you would get, these are all the private IPs which you have to remember. If someone is asking you on questions, can you please give me some range on private IPs? Just, from 10 series, this is the IP, 172.16 series, this is IP, and then from 190 to 168 series, this is IP. So these are all private IPs, wherein this will not, you will not see all these IPs in your public internet. That is what I meant. Okay. Cool. Now, what is the next step, Samir? Apart from these three ranges, okay, this is one range. See, I'll just copy it again. This is the private IPs. So, list of private IPs. You should by heart. That would be great. So this is another one, and the third one is, so in any sort of company you're working, or any kind of client you're working, if you're logging into the company and you're working, means if you type ipconfig or ifconfig, you will see any of these IPs. Your IP will be falling up inside this range. Okay, it means that it is obviously a private network. Okay, cool. Now, what do you mean by elastic IP? Elastic IP is nothing but, apart from this, if you see this public IP right here, there is a public IP. This 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 is a public IP, and this is a public IP. Right. Now, if you see the private IP, and we have this private IP, this is a private IP. This is a private IP. This is a private. This is private, and this is private. So if you compare this private green color with this here, this series, so it means that this is falling under 172.16.0.0 from till 172.31. So it's falling there, correct? Now, when I say elastic IP is nothing but, apart from this 172, the public IP, it will pull one IP and then it will assign to you permanently. Okay. Now I'll show you how to do that. So here on the left side, there is something called elastic IPs. So in the elastic IP, you have to click on allocate. When you hit on allocate, it will try to get the one IP from the pool of IPv4 address for you, and then click on allocate, and then it will be allocated. So you got an IP 52.66.17.95. You got it? Now I want two more. Again, this will involve the cost if you're not assigning to a running instance. Okay, so just follow with me. Allocate. So I'm doing three IPs here. I have three elastic IPs. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna assign this to okay, for my understanding, I'm gonna assign it to demo machine 1, and this one I'm gonna assign it to demo machine 2, and this one I'm gonna assign it to demo machine 3. Okay, now here, so what all the things I've got, I'm gonna copy and paste it here. 1 minute. The whiteboard for my knowledge. So here we go. So sorry, demo machine 1 elastic IP is what? 15.206. Okay, cool. And demo machine 2 elastic IP, and this is this one. Okay, and demo machine 3 elastic IP, which is 52.66.70. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is, first you got, you got the IP from the pool of IP4 IPv4 addresses. Now you are going to associate it. Okay, first you allocate it, then you have to associate it. So now I'm going to choose the first one, actions, then associate. Associate means you're mapping this elastic IP to a running instance. So this is the demo machine 1, and I'm choosing demo machine 1 running instance. Okay, and I'm just choosing the respective private IP address. You will be getting only one private IP address, but you can use more. You can create more private IP address, but that's a different part, not part of this session. So now you'll be getting only one private IP, and then click on associate. So it will be associated. Now if you see this, now I'm going to choose, if you scroll right, then it will say associate instance ID. So the first one is associated. Now I'm going to do choose the second one. So actions, associate elastic IP, now demo machine 2 running, and then associate. Done. Now I'm going to use 3. If you scroll down again, see 2 are allocated. Now the last one is pending. Actions, associate, instance, 3. Associate. So we have allocated 3 IPs. If you go back to instances here, and then if you click on it, demo machine 1, you will see the public IP IPv4 15.206.5.243, which is this one. See this? Demo machine 1 elastic IP 15.206.5.243. Same thing. If you go to demo machine 2, 3.6.125.248, 3.6.125.248. And if you go to 3, 52.66.17.95, 52.66.17.95. So now what you are going to do is, we are going to, obviously, if you want to see the web page, what you normally do is copy this public IPv4 address, and then you will put it here. It should come up. It has come up, right? Now if you go for the demo machine 2, copy the public IP and you keep it here. Again, it has come up. Now if you want to go back to demo machine 3, copy the public IPv4 address, enter. So it has come up. Now I'm going to do the same exercise. So if I hit on stop instance, now I've stopped it. So last time when we did it, after we stopped, then we started, the public IP got changed. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm just pausing the video for a minute. Okay, now if you see, we have stopped the machine, but last time when I stopped the machine, the IPv4 address, it was not displaying there. Okay, you got the hyphen symbol if you remember. Now we have the same public IPv4 address, the elastic one. So you see this 15.206.5.243, same thing, and then 3.6.125, 3.6.125, and for demo machine 3, 52.66, 52.66. So what this proves is elastic IP is very good. If you don't want to, in case if this machine is terminated for some reason, okay, say for example, I'll just help you out. So demo machine 1 is in stopped, and for some reason it got terminated. I'm hitting on terminate. Okay, now what will happen to the elastic IP? That's a valid question, right? Whatever you have mapped for this machine 1, what will happen? So that one is, I'll be explaining to you how to do that. So demo machine 1 is crashed now. Demo machine 1 is getting terminated. That is our scenario now. So the scenario is demo machine 1 is crashed. So demo machine 1 is crashed. Now what will happen to that elastic IP? So if the demo machine is crashed, which we are terminated, okay, now let's go to the elastic IP on the left side. So here if you scroll right, see the instance is gone. Now demo machine IP, elastic IP is there. So what you can do here is, you can launch another instance. So I'm launching another instance called I'm launching another instance called demo machine 4. Demo machine 4. Okay. I'm sorry. Name demo machine 4. Okay. And then I'm hitting on configure security group. I'm choosing the security group, this one, demo ec2 instance security group, review and launch, and then launching it. Okay, cool. So let it launch. Let me pause the video for a minute. Okay, so let's see this instance state. Okay, the demo machine 4 is up and running. Cool. Now I'm gonna okay, the demo machine 4 is up and running, and it is initializing, and I'm gonna copy. Okay, right now the public IP address for demo machine 4 is, let me type it here. Now demo machine 4 IP is this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, what happened to this IP right now? I'm talking about what happened to this IP, because this IP demo machine 1 we terminated. Now this IP is available. So what we will do is, we will associate that IP. So how will you do it? Left side, and then click on elastic IPs. Okay, now, so this is the IP which is free right now, okay, which was used by demo machine 1. So now I'm going to change it to demo machine 4 for our reference. So here I'm going to click on actions, associate elastic IP, and choose it for demo machine 4. Now choose the same private IP, whatever you're getting it up, and then associate. So now IP is not changed, only the instance is changed. Okay, so the users who are accessing through IP, they don't need to know about this instance failure or something. If the instance has failed, what you can do is, you can keep the IP constant, you can change the backend instances. Yeah, so this is the easy and advantage of using the elastic IP. But there is a new one which is a load balancer, which we will talk about it, and I explained the entire video what was before load balancer, how it is. So if I explain the load balancer now by creating it, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'll be doing a practical on creating the elastic load balancer in the next video. Okay, so just make sure that elastic IPs, make sure you delete it. So let's go one by one. Actions, first you have to disassociate it, because this is chargeable. How it is chargeable in the sense, as long as the elastic IP is connected to a running instance, no issues, it is not chargeable. Okay, but once you disassociate the elastic IP and it then it is chargeable. Or if your instance is in stopped state and still your elastic IP is connected, it is chargeable. So it should be running, instance should be running, and the elastic IP should be mapped, then it is not chargeable. It's it's quite weird, because Amazon is giving you one public IP only for your purpose. Okay, so that's why they are very much they are giving this, they are putting this certain rules. So I've disassociated all the three. If you scroll right, see there are no instances, associated instance ID is there. So what I'll do is, you have to release it right now. So I've selected everything, release elastic IP address, release. Perfect, guys. So that's all for this. I will keep this instance run. I'll start this things again. I'll change this to demo machine 1 for our next lab. Okay, and now 1 2 3 will be there, and I'm making these two things to be in running mode. Okay, start instance. So let it run. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.